Keynote
Yes.
speaker. I was listening to his podcast this weekend. Great podcast. He's been doing a lot with John Maxwell, who was also keynote speaker at conference a few years back. But I think it's going to be good, man. I'm looking forward to this guy.
Yeah, me too. He's amazing. I love his podcast, love his lessons, and he fits right in line with our culture. Spark, weekly standing interview order. Guys, you want to build a team, Spark is one of the great ways to do that. Just scan that QR code. You're going to get 10% off your first order of weekly standing interviews. So these are ads are placed, candidates are pre-screened, they land on your calendar. All you've got to do is watch some interviews in the workroom, study your script that comes with it, right? We have scripts for everything here. So you get a script, an interview script to run through it, and then boom, you're adding people to your agency and building yourself a business. What do we got next? I love the graphic. I mean, we can look at it for a little longer.
My computer is stuck.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
well, guys, seriously, this is a great time. I mean, there's always a great time to recruit, but recruiting is so key, especially as we're on this corner turn into conference, right? We're in the third corner stretch right into conference. Great time to build and bring people to literally the best thing that can launch your career, and that's the national conference.
That is the end of our
Remember that.
slideshow today.
Oh, gotcha. A little shorter. I guess we're skipping book of the month this week, and we'll pick up where we left off next week. Mark, you want to introduce our guest, man?
I do. I thank you, Elijah. We have a very special guest today. Love that we have so many people intentionally present with your cameras on. Thank you. Thank you. We have special guest. I think I can unmute him. Fred Rothlisberger, my friend, and Gabby too. Love Fred and Gabby Rothlisberger. Guys, if you haven't met Fred and Gabby, that's probably the #1 reason you need to go to conference. You can just go meet Fred. And then Ed Milet's going to be there too. But this is my buddy Fred. He is a top SME in the company. Fred Rothlisberger has hosted the advanced market boot camps all over the country because he is one of the absolute best at FIF resets. And for all you new people that don't know what an FIF reset is, don't worry, Fred's going to go through the whole thing. He's got some amazing stuff for us. And Fred, without further ado, please, anything that I left out, which is probably a ton, other than I love you and you're amazing and thanks for being here.
Yeah, I mean, you left out, you didn't tell everybody like how we met. It was, I think 2021. I was like a month into being here at Symmetry, and we were at Agency Owner Academy, and this guy walked in and there was a couple buttons undone, and he sat in the first row and he kept asking these questions. I'm like, man, this Mark guy has really good questions. I think we're going to be friends. And I think that's where everything started.
That is where it started. Me with no buttons on my shirt and you with a big Texas belt buckle. We were a match made in heaven.
Yeah. So I knew I was coming on to the Cook Agency, which I'm super excited and honored to. So I want to make sure I was appropriately dressed with the proper, the real UT uniform on. So no, just very excited to be here. Mark and the entire Cook organization, y'all have been in my time here. So for me, just kind of a brief introduction for those that haven't met me or I haven't got to meet you yet. My name is Fred Rothlisberger. Myself, along with my wife, Gabby, we're agency directors here at Symmetry Financial Group. And then we are in the Pappas Wayland hierarchy. So incredibly grateful to be so. And for me, this is something where I'm so thankful for everything that is available here at Symmetry. And I've really found a passion, not only in kind of the stuff that we do every week, but really the scope of what we're able to do. And I think this is something that me and Mark have kind of talked about. When you step into this opportunity, there's so much available for you. And so some of that stuff you're going to do immediately. Some of that stuff you're going to be able to refer out and learn as you go. And so I just wanted to get a kind of a sense before I dive in. I know I'm seeing a lot of familiar faces, but go ahead. If you're in your first like 90, 180 days, like throw a 1 in the chat. Like I want to see if I'm talking to some new people on here, because I think this may be why Mark had me on here, because I like to keep things simple. That's really the only gear I have, but it seems to work for people. So we got a lot of new people on the call. And so for kind of our conversation today, and if you guys hear our other special guest, we actually have our 2-year-old son's at home this week. So he's over here eating some spaghetti. So you may hear him as he's going through that. But for us in our organization, when we bring people on, we like to talk about the 3 main ways that you can make money with this opportunity. Okay, so I'm going to start here, and then I'm actually going to kind of dive into a little bit of one of these areas. So when you're looking at Symmetry Financial Group, there's really, if you're taking notes, I like to call it now money, wow money, and legacy money. And so when you're getting started here, and everybody that put those ones in the chat, that now money, that's going to be the mortgage protection and life insurance piece, right? Your job when you first start here is to put your full focus here. You want to get really good at this, right? I heard this a couple of weeks ago. The better you get at sending clients and business to the insurance companies, the better they get at sending you money, right? So your first 90 days, if we were on this call and Chris and Mark and Elijah and all the leaders, they brought me on here to talk about you making money playing pickleball. And I said, if you get really good at pickleball in the next 90 days, you can make 10,000 plus a month playing pickleball. What would everybody on this call do? You would leave, you would grab your paddle, you would play morning, noon, and night. Your spouse would be like, hey, let's go watch Love Island. You'd be like, not now, honey. I got to practice pickleball. I'm getting really good at this. Same thing here, right? So if you put a 1 in the chat, you're in that period where your full focus needs to be on getting really good at mortgage protection, right? This is not the time to be taking vacations. You just started your business. This is not the time to be getting new puppies. And so with that, if you give this your full focus early on and you get consistent at sending these insurance companies business to protecting families, they're going to get consistent in sending you money. And the great thing about it is you help a family on Monday, they're protected. You're going to get that deposit Tuesday or Wednesday. So that turnaround time on that's incredible. So that's the now money. Well, the other one that we're not going to talk as much about today, but I think super important is legacy money. And so legacy money here is building an agency. Now, the leaders on this team, like this is something where nobody's ever going to pressure you to build an organization because you can make an incredible income going out and helping families, having a flexible schedule. Well, we're sure as heck going to let you know that opportunity is here, right? And so if you're brand new, maybe you haven't heard this or in this way, when you go out and successfully start helping families and help 6 other people do so, you can actually sign a second ownership contract with Symmetry Financial Group. What does that mean? That means that everything you built, that passive income, that agency, that book of business is going to be willable, sellable, transferable, right? So it's super important for me and Gabby. We've been here 9.5 years. Everything we built, if me and her went in a car today and God forbid we got an accident, didn't come home, that agency, that passive income would actually go to our beneficiary, who's my father-in-law, who's in the business, and he would be able to have that as he's raising our son, right? And one day we hope to pass that down to our son, right? So those are the now money and legacy money. Those are 2 of the ways. But what we're going to spend a lot of the time talking about today is wow money. So as you're coming in and you're getting good at the now money, you're also, particularly in this agency, you're essentially, when you start at Symmetry, getting your own wealth management team, right? So when I talk about now money or wow money, that's going to be our advanced markets, products, items, right? So what does that look like? That means that there's SMEs or subject matter experts on this team that have gone through additional training, certifications in the areas of things like annuities, IULs, debt-free life, infinite banking. And so when you come in, part of what we're going to do today is give you the questions and training on how to identify, as you're doing mortgage protection, that wow money, right? And so what does that look like? Just in my organization last month, we had a newer agent. She's been here 3 months. And here's how this went, Mark. She calls the guy, super nice guy in Mississippi, looking to do mortgage protection on his mortgage. Well, Ernest in Mississippi lets her know that he has $100,000 in the bank. So as a newer agent, a lot of us would probably be like, oh no, he doesn't need mortgage protection. Well, what did she do? She got curious because she had the questions in training and was like, hey, hey, what's going on here? And so ultimately she's like, I just think there's more here. Referred Ernest over to me. Last week, she actually got a $3,400 deposit for doing that referral bonus, right? And so our wealth management team or advanced market team here, we're going to be doing all that work on the back end with that client. Some of these things take 3 weeks to 3 months. We're going to take care of that, let you continue to do the now money. And then from there, once that's complete, you're going to get that referral bonus or the split of those commissions, right? This is way different than if you have a buddy, Edward Jones, you send someone over, what are you going to get in return? Maybe a nice thank you text, right? And so that's what that looks like. Just another example, we literally had an agent start on July 1st. First set of leads, calls a guy, he's like, I think there's more here. I ended up helping that guy, he's got a lot of businesses. That agent who's been here 6 weeks, this month is going to get a $12,000 deposit. And so for a lot of you coming in, yes, you want to learn the now money, but you also want to be aware and know the questions to ask for the wow money, because that can be something that can be a game changer for you. And as you're starting your business, that can be the investment in your leads for a long period of time as you're growing this thing, right? And so I don't know if you want to ask me any questions, Mark. I'm going to go check on the spaghetti boy here for a second, and then I'll hop into some slides I got for you.
Nice. No, check on spaghetti boy. And guys, if you have any quick questions, now he's gonna go through a presentation that's pretty slick. So you may want to save your questions. But if you have something about that case that he just talked about, go ahead and put it in the chat. Fred, I love how well you break down the simplicity of this. Like FIF reset, advanced markets, all that stuff's advanced, but the process to get there is not very advanced at all. And that's what we really want you guys to understand is the complex stuff is all handled by the SME. The easy stuff is guiding it there. And it's just a matter of you deciding, am I going to get curious? Am I going to ask these questions? And what is the best way to do that if I'm brand new and just learning the basics? Yeah, thanks, Fred.
Yeah, of course. Well, I'm back. I got some ruined curtains. I got spaghetti all over my white curtains, but that's okay. But I'm excited. And one of the things that I want to set up for you if you're on this call, when we talk about the wow money, I think a lot of times we don't ask the questions because we feel like, hey, the client came to us for mortgage protection, or the client came to us to have this conversation. And if I ask questions about other areas of their life, now I'm changing the conversation, right? Sometimes we feel like, oh, we want to make sure we're honoring why they came here. We don't want to kind of bait and switch. That's not what we're doing at all. You want to think about this as you're doing this mortgage protection, a lot of the questions and things I'm going to go through here in a second, these are actually initially just going to help you write better mortgage protection and life insurance business, right? So we're just widening the lens for their financial picture, right? So that's the other thing, Mark. Sometimes people are like, I don't want to ask financial questions. I don't, that's uncomfortable. Well, let me ask you this. If you're on this call, if you had someone that had a $300 a month budget, would you recommend and try to put in place a $500 a month policy? Probably not, right? So you probably just answered your own question that you're already asking them about their financial picture, right? So you're already doing these things, right? So let's talk about what that looks like, because I feel like there are so many areas and opportunities for us to serve our client in not only the mortgage protection and life insurance, but additional ways. So can you all see that screen okay? Just kind of get a thumbs up.
Yes, sir.
All right. So the first thing is when we talk about filling out the FIF or doing a reset or asking these questions, when do we do that? Well, the short answer is anytime. But really, you're going to see as I go through here, any point in the process from the initial phone conversation or dial all the way through policy reviews of clients you've had years later, these are all, all opportunities to ask those reset questions and help identify these. So in an appointment, we're already kind of asking, and I'm going to dive more into this in a second, that's where we're getting the financial picture of what their life would look like and where we're able to kind of ask some questions and figure out if this is a potential reset. Right? On the phones, you guys are going to get some verbiage today that's going to be incredible, right? Every week we go out and the goal is to set ourselves 15 to 20 appointments. But we know if we're setting 15 to 20 appointments, we're probably talking to 30 to 40 people. What if you guys had some verbiage or one more question to ask that person, even if they're not going to be an appointment, for a potential reset? And then from there, when you're doing those policy deliveries, policy reviews, there's opportunities and verbiage to conduct a reset there, as well as just people you know, right? So we're going to talk about all of that today. and Mark, leaders, everybody feel free to kind of pop in as I'm going. But one of the things as you're getting started, I know this was maybe a few years ago, we used to think that resets or kind of referring over to an SME was kind of a niche thing, right? Every once in a great while, I'll find someone that's good for a reset. Well, if you look at this list, whether it's getting out of debt, changing jobs, having children, business owners, medical professionals, people getting close to retirement, we just pretty much described everybody we're usually talking to on a regular basis, right? So you're going to have an opportunity potentially for a reset with every single person you talk to, right? It's just up to you to kind of learn those training and questions to identify those and then get them over to that SME. So what does that look like? Now, the first area I want to concentrate on is these appointments, right? So every week, if you're a full-time agent, you're going out and you're running 10 to 15 mortgage protection life insurance appointments with your clients. Now, here's the way it works, right? This is straight from the system. You start the appointment. The first stage you go into is your role and purpose, right? You're going to walk them through what we're doing today. Second, we're going to re-verify the health, right? We want to make sure we got everything. We're digging a little bit there. And then here's where we start to kind of transition into starting to identify their bigger financial picture, is when we transition to the financial aspect, okay? Now, a couple easy areas, and I'm sure you guys have got training and verbiage already, so I want to give you just a couple more. A couple easy areas to have this conversation. First is regarding the mortgage, right? We know that if we got a mortgage protection lead, they got a mortgage. So they expect us to ask about that, right? All right, you got a $325,000 mortgage. All right, what does that look like? Kind of a ballpark of what you guys have for your monthly payment. All right, around $2,000 a month. Okay, all right. And then are y'all making any overpayments on that? Are y'all trying to pay that off faster than 30 years? And then you hear, yeah, we're doing an extra $300 a month to pay that off faster. Oh, okay. Y'all are trying to pay that off faster. It sounds like getting out of debt's important to you. Hey, remind me when we're done. We're going to come back to that. I appreciate you sharing that with me, right? We're in our mortgage protection and life insurance appointment. So this is the area where I'm just planting the seed, right? So I'm going to plant the seed. I'm going to gather the information and plant the seed that, hey, I'm going to come back and I'm going to talk about that later, but we're here for the mortgage protection and life insurance. Sometimes when we have newer agents, they hear, oh my gosh, they're making overpayments, or they have an old 401k. And guess what happens? We get excited and we either get ourselves into the weeds and we lose the client because we don't know enough about it, or we get excited and then they lose the value or the purpose of why they came here originally for the mortgage protection and life insurance. So just understand 95% of the time, we want to make sure, because that's going to be really the first need, right? Getting that mortgage protection and the right life insurance in place, that's the financial foundation for their entire family. Now, everything else, as far as advanced markets, we're going to build on top of that, but that's going to be the first piece, right? So we ask about the mortgage. Another great kind of area to ask some questions is, you really do want to know, as you're doing mortgage protection, what other financial safety nets they have, right? Hey, I know you're not probably intending to use it for this, but any other kind of financial safety nets you guys have in place that could potentially act like life insurance? Things like 401ks, IRAs, money in a savings, anything like a mattress that, your family would be able to use if something were to happen to you, right? We want to know what their situation looks like. And then once we identify that of, hey, maybe they have an old 401k. Hey, remind me when we're done. I have an idea or two that may be able to protect you. So, that account will never lose any money moving forward. But, just remind me when we're done, right? I'm just planting that seed there. Another great one, Mark, is a lot of times we're asking people what they do, right? When we get to the application, it's pretty important if they work as a firefighter getting dropped into active fires, or if they work behind a desk, right? Insurance companies like to know their occupation. So I'm asking about their job already. Hey, okay, you work as a truck driver. Okay, how long have you been doing that? Okay, about 6 months. All right, before that, what'd you do? Oh, I worked at Oracle for 30 years behind a desk. He thinks he's just telling me about what he does. But what did I just find out? He probably has an old 401k from his old position.
Yeah.
Right. So biggest thing, if I had to tell you one thing about kind of this fact finding portion, don't be weird. Right. And so like, I'm already just asking about questions to help me do a better job with mortgage protection life insurance, but I'm also identifying additional opportunities. Okay. Any questions on that part, Mark?
No, I love it. I just want everybody to really soak it in, like look at the simplicity of these questions. And I just want to echo what you said, Fred. Like, I love it. Don't be weird. Like, you're already reading questions in the script. These are just a few more questions. They don't know what's on your script and what's not. This is your process. I always remind agents, like if I call for car insurance and I'm talking to Geico, like I don't wonder why they're asking me certain things, right? I just know I got to get through this appointment. They're asking me questions, they're giving me options, and at the end, it's my job. So I love that you got these broken down so simply.
Yeah, and the overpayment's a big one, because one of the things that can happen sometimes is you get to the end of your mortgage protection and life insurance and they're like, hey, we can't afford this. And you didn't ask about the overpayments. Maybe they can afford it, but they're just prioritizing paying down their debt. So that may be something where that reset is something not only they can get covered with the mortgage protection, but also help them pay that off even faster, right? So these are already in line with what you're doing. One thing I didn't mention in the beginning, I'm actually going to throw these slides in the chat at the end. And so if you're taking screenshots or trying to write down, I'll make sure you guys have these.
Amazing.
And so we've planted the seed. We're filling out what we have in the FIF. And then we get to the end of the appointment. Now, at the end of the appointment, whether it's a sale or a no sale, here's where we want to go back and we want to remember and kind of help them remember what they said, right? Hey, Mark, now I remember when you mentioned getting out of debt's important to you. And I know you didn't originally ask about this, right? I'm recognizing like, hey, I know you didn't originally come to me for this, but I know you mentioned it's important to you. We actually have an entire division that's designed to educate our clients on how to do that faster and more efficiently than most people probably could on their own. We have people, Mark, Betsy, others, they're super like, this is their wheelhouse, they're incredible, and they can explain this. And main purpose of this is just education, right? They're gonna let you know if this is something that would make sense for you. Whatever you do with that information is completely up to you. Now, I know Betsy, she's super busy, like she's got a tight schedule. Is that something where like around this time tomorrow, would that be good for you to kind of just connect with her to kind of learn more about it? Or what does that look like? Okay. All right, awesome. So I actually have you down at 4 o'clock with her. What I'll actually do is I'm actually going to call you first and then we'll loop in Betsy. I know you got my number, so I'll see you then and we'll have that conversation and see if this is going to be something that's helpful, right? Same thing here, right? I want to acknowledge this is not why they originally came, but I want to reiterate what they mentioned was important to them. And then I'm going to get them over to that SME. Now with this, I have said nothing about debt-free life, annuities, IUL. That's not my wheelhouse, right? And so sometimes as you're new, you want to learn about our advanced market products, and that's okay, right? We want you, if that's something you want to learn more about, great. And at the same time, it's not really beneficial to be mentioning those things to the client, right? We want to talk about what that solution is going to do for them and let them know we're going to connect them to the right department, right? This is something where this is another kind of soapbox I have. Understand that you are the incredible leader of the mortgage protection department. We have this other department that helps educate people on these things, okay? And just so you know, pretty much every company you deal with has departments and you don't even think twice about it. And if you don't believe me, when we get off this call F&G, click on the commissions button, and when you get the lady for commissions on the phone or the fella, start giving them a risk assessment. What's going to happen? You're very quickly going to get transferred over to the right department, right? So that's normal. And so that's how you want to play it, right? When Gabby sends me a reset, she's actually like, hey, me and my husband are actually the same company. We just work in completely different departments. And then she sets it up that way where I'm the person that is kind of the head of the Advanced Financial Solutions department. So don't feel that pressure to have to know that. Just have that trust with your SME that you're sending that person over to that department, okay? Now, this is probably my favorite, and the other SMEs, I don't know if you feel the same way. There's going to be times where you're on the phone and you're not going to get the appointment. Now, I want to privy this or kind of set this up. When you get on the phone and you get that first objection, that knee-jerk objection, this is not the time to go to what's on the slide, right? We're professionals. You need to work on your objection handling and you need to fight through that to get the appointment. But if we're at the point where you've done your objection handling, you're in the ring, and you're like, I'm about to take this lead and crinkle it up in the trash. Now you have one more question or one more bullet in the chamber to ask. Okay. And so what does that look like? That looks like, hey, Elijah, I'm so glad you have $37 million in life insurance for 47 cents a month. Last question, and I'll let you go. And I know you didn't originally ask about this, but if your mortgage and other debts were completely paid off, would your retirement be more comfortable?
Absolutely.
Every single person you ask is going to say yes to that. Or let's say they're older, right? Hey, last question, I'll let you go. Has anyone ever talked to you about insuring your retirement? I know we talk about car insurance, health insurance, life insurance, but has anyone ever talked to you about insuring your retirement? They're probably going to say no, right? And so what are we doing here? We already invested in this lead. We're not getting the appointment. We're playing with house money at this point, right? And so at that point, you set it on your SME's calendar and you're like, hey, let's roll. I'm getting them on the phone with someone else. They kind of expressed interest. They want to learn more about this. And then the SME can have that opportunity from their perspective to dive more into it. Okay. So this is something where if you're going through your dial sessions, you always want to have this verbiage up. This one's for A leads. A lot of newer agents, you're probably doing bonus leads. One of our agents actually came up with kind of a second verbiage on this. And so anybody ever have, hey, you're the 17th person that called me. I don't want this. Okay. No, just me, just our agents. You guys don't get any of those? Okay. All right. So if you
We get him, Fred. We get him. What
okay,
can we
I'm
do
just
with
checking. I'm just checking. I don't know if you guys have like the special leads that everybody buys. So, so what does that look like, right? This is something where you can let their guard down, going, hey, totally understand. My job basically is to just double check the work of the previous agents that reached out to you, because our file is still showing you haven't been helped. Last question, I'll let you go. Out of all the previous agents you spoke with, did any of them offer you the free education we have here in the state of Hawaii on how you can pay off your mortgage and other debts you have and potentially half the time without spending any more than you already do each month? Right. Again, this is not like a first objection on the phone, but like we've already done our objection handling. And guys, understand this numbers wise, you're going to have 10 to 20 contacts every week that aren't going to turn into an appointment. But we want to kind of continue that process and try to get them on the phone with someone else. Right. And this is something where I've actually had as an SME, someone off a dial sends me someone, I get on, start asking some questions, filling out, getting information. I actually kick them back to them for the mortgage protection. Right. And so this is something where just know, like, this is that relationship or partnership with you and your SME to better serve our client. Right. So here's some verbiage for dials. Now, this is also something, and this happens. You go through the process, maybe an app was being weird, and after an hour and a half or 2 hours, you got the app approved, they're covered. You get off the phone and you're like, oh no, I told them to remind me, but then I forgot. That's okay. You're going to be talking to them a few days later when you deliver that policy and then, make sure they understand what you have. And so you say, hey, I'm so glad you're covered with that mortgage protection. Got that in place. You understand what you have. Just want you to know, like, mortgage protection is actually one half of what we do. The other half is actually focusing on helping people strategically eliminate their debts and having incredible retirements. So I just want to be a resource for you throughout this process. I know we got you covered for mortgage protection, but anything for you or people in your circle, if we can help serve your needs, I do want you to know that's a big part of what our company does as well. I know you probably don't need this, but at least if I could be a resource for you and people in your life, right? When you say, I know you probably don't need this, what do most people think? Hey, maybe this is something that I want, right? So you can kind of introduce that there. And then if you've been here 3 months, 6 months, and you're like, oh, I just wasn't making resets a part of my process, no worries, right? Hey, since we last spoke, I just wanted to let you know we now actually have a wealth management division. Same thing. We're just talking about that opportunity and education that we have in different areas. Okay. And then from there, this is something where one of my agents, if you want to talk about like, hey, who could be a reset, look at your phone and see how many contacts you have. Here's some verbiage that you can kind of dive into. I'll put the slides in, but like just introduce and have a conversation. Let them hop on with an SME and talk about the incredible things we can do. If you're looking at this on social media, this is something where we want to pique curiosity. If you're posting on social media, don't be posting about the participating whole life dividend rate of Forster's Financial Group in 2023, right? That's not something that's going to pique curiosity, but here's a few examples. And just know, as you're doing this, we just want to have more conversations and educate people on all the incredible things we're able to help them with, right? When you look across this country, the majority of banks, the majority of corporations, the majority of wealthy people are utilizing the products and solutions we have with our advanced market team. And you're just giving everyday Americans, mortgage protection leads that we have, an opportunity to do the same, right? If I look at this page, bottom left, that's a very simple post. David Gardner put that May of 2024. I met with the lady. She kind of fell off during the summer, got busy, had a bowling league. She circled back. We helped her with her retirement in November. David Gardner from this Facebook post woke up Christmas Eve morning in 2024 with a $17,000 deposit.
Merry Christmas. That's freaking awesome.
Right? Same thing here. One of our agents shared one of Symmetry's ads. That person actually came to us for an Infinite Bank. She got a $3,000 deposit. Her friend is able to pay off their debt in 7 years instead of 22. Right? And then the middle one, there's multiple applications that Vanessa's been able to write for clients just by posting that every couple months. And so there's an opportunity regardless of what you're doing. But what I want to say is, like, you want to get really good at this because, one, you're going to be getting a better kind of financial picture for your clients. But two, you're going to be able to serve them in more ways than one. And what does that look like for you? Right? That looks like not only is your client protected in more ways so that business is stickier, that also looks like 20, 30, 40% of the APV you submit over the course of the year is actually going to be stuff that you don't even have to do all the work. You just ask questions, get them over to the advanced market team, and the incredible SMEs on this team are going to be able to help them with that. And you're going to get that split of commissions as well as the APV, which goes to our promotions. And it's just going to go towards your belief in everything we're able to help people with here at Symmetry.
That's good.
That's incredible.
You know, they say the quality of the questions you ask determine the quality of the life you get to live, you know? And I mean, Fred, for years, dude, all I focused on was mortgage protection. And as we started getting into debt-free life and putting a bigger emphasis on retirement and stuff like that, the main thing I asked myself is, how much money did I leave on the table over the first 5 years of this, of not asking these questions? I'm curious just to kind of give people, I mean, I don't know, just to get people excited. What's been the biggest deposit that one of your agents has had just from asking these questions? We heard 17 grand. That's pretty freaking huge, I would say. Is that the biggest, or have there been any more that were larger than that?
So personally, like for me with our agents, I think the biggest is about 26,000.
And that's their split.
That's their split. And then the one that's happening this month, guys, this agent hasn't even ran a mortgage protection appointment, and he's about to get a $12,000 deposit. But what I would say on that, Elijah, is you just never know who you're talking to.
Very true.
This is not myself, but one of the other SMEs I work with. She had an agent refer over a mortgage protection lead, and she is going through, they're kind of working through it to issue now. But in the conversation, a mortgage protection lead, I think it was like a $3 lead, found out that lady is actually, and she had forgot, a Bitcoin billionaire. And so they're going through the process of several applications where this referring agent is potentially getting themselves hundreds of thousands of dollars a year for several years in commissions.
Wow.
And are they all like that? No. But at the end of the day, you just never know if you're not having those conversations. And
you never know.
One thing I would say too, Elijah, too, is when we talk about, like, what are we doing? We're helping people get out of debt. We're helping people grow retirement, protect a retirement. These people are going to have this conversation eventually with someone, right? But they came across your desk as a mortgage protection person. And so it's part of your kind of professional responsibility to let them know that, hey, us here at Symmetry can also help them with that, because eventually they're going to ask someone to help them. And then that can be here.
Yep. We're in the middle of the greatest wealth transfer in our history right now. And so it is prime time to be an agent and asking these questions to the leads you're talking to.
100%.
Thank you for that master class, Fred.
It really is a master class.
Yeah. And it's just getting good at asking a couple questions. You don't need to go through all the trouble of becoming an SME. I mean, you have that as an option, but might as well focus on the easy, quick, simple stuff and then be on the lookout for those advanced market opportunities. Really good stuff.
Fred, may I ask, what do you guys do in your agency? You have a thriving FIF community in your agency. You're always on the leaderboards. I think everyone here realizes in seeing it again in a different way that it really is simple, right? And it's actually easy. We say symmetry, it's not easy, it's simple, but this is easy and simple. This is both. But for some reason, there's just a disconnect. And I think that I'd like to just on behalf of our agency, learn a little something as to how do you effectively onboard, like from day one, how are you onboarding your folks and getting this into your agency's vernacular and everyday practice?
Yeah, I think, when I started off of like talking about now money, wow money, and legacy money, that's actually something that we talk to people before, like that's our meet and greet call in the onboarding process. Like I want them to know before they even like have been selected or chosen to come here to Symmetry that there's these 3 opportunities. And so I think when you come in early, you want them to know that that's there, right? And so they're going to get that on a call before they even start. And then a part of the onboarding process is they're going to, have, all right, they have all the steps in Fast Start to get going. But part of that, whether it's the Fast Start, is that flat tire list, is warm market. And there's going to be opportunities within that to start generating those FIFs. And I think it's something just like this call of what you guys are doing right now to keep in front of the team, right? We're going to celebrate those reset wins. We're going to talk about them. We're going to have little nuggets of things that people are going through. And so I think just keeping it in front of people. Now, if I was an agent on this call and the question that you kind of asked, but in a different way, what you focus on grows, right? And so in my kind of 5 years of being an SME, what I would say is I've probably seen 0 resets come from people that grab those slides, put them on their computer, and never look at them again. And so if I was a new agent on this call, and when I have my agents that are sending resets every week, I'll ask them like, hey, where did this come up? How did you do this? Guess what I hear a lot? Hey, I have your slides printed off in front of me. Hey, I took that verbiage from the slides and I put it into my script. And so what I would say is 2 things. One, when you go into a dial session or you go into an appointment, if I go into an appointment and I think I'm going to write an Americo application, guess what one of the tabs on my computer that's open is? The Americo application, because I'm expecting to write that. So I'm keeping it up. Now, if I'm going to make resets a part of my business, one of my tabs that's always going to be open, whether I'm dialing or running appointments, is going to be that FIF tab. And in that FIF tab, one more thing I just want to go through is you want to go through and put what you have. But at the end of the day, like understand your SME is going to work with you to uncover everything else. I would rather not have you spending 45 minutes getting the electric bill that they paid 36 months ago, and then you're completely like zoned out. Get what you need. I want to know why this turned into a reset, right? What's important to them. And then let me know the information you have. And we're going to figure out the rest of that on that initial call, right? And so don't feel that pressure, but you just want to keep this in front of you, whether it's putting it into your script or keeping those slides on your desk. So you say it. Because if you don't think about it, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's right.
Very
I
true.
love it. Yeah, I hope everybody takes that to heart. I know at conference and everywhere else if you go through your camera roll, you have hundreds of photos from conferences and trainings that you haven't looked at once after you've taken those pictures. Same with the slideshow, right? It's amazing, but it's not the Ark of the Covenant to be just sitting in the corner of a room somewhere. Like you got to open it and melt some faces, right, Fred? So get that written down in your script, print it out, have it on your desk, and have that F5 reset tab open all the while, and start a new day today, guys. Like it's as simple as that, because the questions are right here, and Fred just showed us how you can add 5 to maybe even 6 figures to your monthly income. Definitely 5 on a regular basis. So
I think we should throw a challenge out there, Mark, for everybody on this call. Like, if you wanna, I mean, the worst thing you could do with new significant information is not apply it, right? I mean, that's why we're all like, I'm here because I went to conference, learned what I needed to do, and then went and applied it, and I'm still here. And I feel like this is one of those reminders that if you don't use it, you won't benefit from it. So the challenge I would throw out, and I'm gonna try to hit this week, is book 5 resets this week. If you're running 15 appointments, if you're making 30 or 40 contacts, how many reset opportunities are in there? And how long would it take you to book 5? What, maybe an hour, 2 hours tops, maybe quicker if you leverage your warm market. And Fred, let me ask you this, man. I mean, you've been in SME for a while now. If an agent booked 5 FIFs a week, okay, times 50 weeks a year, what would be like a super conservative range of potential APV or commissions that could come from that? Because obviously not every single reset turns into a sale, but what would you estimate as like potential revenue just from booking that many resets per year?
I mean, I would say, a couple things on that. One, your first couple resets are probably like, could they be great? Yes. Will some of them probably be bad? Yes. And this is like another thing that happens is when you look back when you first started and you saw it, like you go back and think about now your first 10 appointments, you probably look back and you're like, oh, I did not do a good job on those. Same thing is going to be with resets. What I see is sometimes they'll do a couple resets and they'll be like, oh, nothing came from them, so let me stop doing that. What if you would have did that with mortgage protection? You wouldn't be on this call today, right? And so when you continually do that, what's going to happen, Elijah, is you're going to get better and better at the questions to ask and the information you're getting, because you're going to hear that from the SME on those. And so if I had someone that was doing 5 a week for an entire year, conservatively, you're looking at passively 6 figures plus, for sure.
Well, I think
now, if you don't want 6 figures plus and you don't want extra money, then you don't have to do it. But if you want extra money, you can just ask a couple of questions that you're already asking on your appointments and do resets. And there we go.
Exactly.
The math checks out. I think it's a good strategy. That's the play, guys. Well, Fred, thank you for being on, dude. Really appreciate your time, your expertise. Excited to see you and Gabby in Denver in a couple weeks. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. Thank you, Fred, man. Appreciate you, buddy. Such a leader in this industry. And thank you. Just simplifying the FIF process. Did anybody get what he said? He said that's an extra 6 figures, right, Fred? That's an extra $100,000 a year on top of what you're currently doing. If you just took notes, applied it. If you're in my base shop, I already sent out the slides to everybody in our base shop in our group chat. So you guys have that. I'm sure some people have put it down there in the chat notes. But Fred, I will say, Fred, you're welcome. You being University of Texas, realize that, and you probably already know this, buddy, if it wasn't for a few volunteers from the great state of Tennessee, you guys would be in the capital of Mexico right now. So you're welcome. From the great state of Knoxville, Tennessee right here. And I can't wait to see you guys on the field here in about 4 weeks, buddy. So
no, we appreciate that. And we appreciate you naming your university after Texas. So
I like it. Yeah. The abbreviation is the same, right? So we'll get to jaw at each other here in about, I guess, 5 weeks, buddy. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. So
thanks for having me on. This is an incredible team. You guys have everything in place already. You have FIFresets.com. You have the people that have done this. It's just, hey, let me do this. Let me be proactive and help my clients. And I'll finish with one story. Sorry. I had that agent I told you about that made $3,400 last week with the guy that had the 100,000. Ernest calls me a couple days after we submit, or about a week after we submit the policy. He says, Fred, he goes, I wanted to call you and tell you something. He goes, I've been so worried about what I was going to do with this money and how I was going to pay off my debt that he's been on blood pressure medication. he called me and said that he went to his doctor, and the doctor's like, you don't have to take it anymore. And he goes, it's because of the peace of mind of what we're doing.
Wow.
Guys, that's nothing to do with what we talk about of the income, but like that's the impact these things can have for people.
We're licensed to do this, guys. That's amazing, Fred. I just got chills hearing that, because that's a lasting impact, not only for this guy's financial well-being, but for his health and longevity. Like incredible.
Yeah, super great, buddy.
Thank you, Fred, so much. You're amazing. Guys, stick around. We got some news and notes real quick before we head off into our workday. And Fred, I cannot thank you enough for coming through today. That training was just in time. Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, Fred. So, guys, couple of special announcements today. We've had cookzoomroom.com for a long time. And we're getting ready to announce that it's going to go away. And the good news is we've already got a problem solved for you, and it'll start tomorrow. But I want to introduce one of my business partners that I've known for years, but also one of my best friends in life, Ben Safepour. He's over in Asheville, North Carolina. I'm going to give you a few things that you don't know about his business if you're new to know him, Ben. In his career here at Symmetry Financial, if you're wanting to write business, by the way, he's written 3.5 million plus in APV. He's one of the top, I guarantee you this, maybe the number one. He's one of the top 5 writers in the history of this company. He's one of the top writers in the history of insurance, because I know him. I've been around him. You know how I got to know him? Is I started qualifying for trips when I started here at Symmetry, and him and his wife were always on trips. And the reason he is because he was that good at going out and helping families, taking leads and helping families in an efficient way. And here's the thing that'll blow your mind. You see a lot of lead junkies in this industry anymore that taking 60, 80 leads a week to help families. He's been one of the top producers, and he's taken an average of 10 leads a week over that time period to do it. Super profitable. And the good news is, folks, I'm happy to announce that our good friend's going to be joining us. Him and his base shop team are going to be joining us here on our Zoom session with a new Zoom room starting up. And Ben, I'll announce the name of the Zoom room here in a second. But, buddy, just wanted to see what few words you had to say to everybody out here, man.
Well, first and foremost, thanks for having us on. Appreciate that. We got a bonus FIF reset training today that I didn't know that we were doing. So hopefully Safepour Farm Team was taking some good notes there, because an extra $100,000 a year in income. Wow. And that's what I'm excited about. You know, Chris and I and our families, we were together last weekend. We had our own powerhouse
Right.
in Tennessee, but really talking about how do we help each other, right? Iron sharpens iron. Just the fact that I'm different, y'all are going to hear something from me that's going to hit you in a different way. My people are going to get a ton of value with the people that are on the Cook Master Agency team, and everybody's here. Newbauer, Betsy, the Roberts, Elijah. I shouldn't start naming names, but there's so many people here that have hearts that want to help people and have the skill set and know how to deliver, right? And so just being able to partner with you guys in a workroom, you know, we don't have that in our farm team. Where, you know, it's just a farm team. You're trying to build those things up. So I'm extremely excited. I'm grateful, Chris, for you and your team, as always, welcoming us into anything that y'all do, and just excited for my team to be able to plug in and get the things that you all do so well already.
Yeah, well, and we're getting the benefit too, guys, of hearing Ben Safepour. He's going to be live in the workroom doing a couple hours a week, a dial session. So realize that's a value to everybody. So big thank you, big gratitude for you for that. And then all of his new team members, we can't wait to welcome you guys as a part of our community, and know that we're here to love and support you in this endeavor that we call a crazy business that we're all in, trying to figure it out together. That's the beautiful thing. We got Elijah Cruho, for some of you don't know, on Ben's team. Last year, he was the number 4 producer in all of Symmetry Financial, made right at $300,000 on his own pen in his 20s, right? I wished I was that smart when I was in my 20s. Unfortunately, I was not. So we had to wait for later in life for maturity to hit. But anyway, so just tremendous value from both teams that we're going to be able to add to each other. So I'm so super stoked about that. And together, we'd like to go ahead and give you the name of the new Zoom room. This is Cook Zoom Room. It's going to be fading out. Some of you probably have already seen it. It's going to be sfgelevate.com. That's sfgelevate.com. And tremendous thank you to Betsy Barr and all the work she always does behind the scenes. If you ever meet Betsy in the workroom or whatever, just say thank you and give gratitude. She's out there in Honolulu. She makes it happen. She's probably up at 4 a.m. in the morning surviving a hurricane today. So, Betsy, we love you so much. And thank you. Anything you want to say about it, Betsy? I know this was your brainchild, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, I just want to say thanks to everyone that voted in our school community. So this is our new name, and really excited for that this is something we as a community chose. If you voted on some of the other ones, appreciate your input and all that, but this was the overwhelming majority choice. And so here I'm just going to share real quick so we can all see it together. We're going to continue to elevate. We're going to continue to move forward together in a positive way. That's what this is all about, Chris. And I'm just so excited about growing together, continuing to move up, and just making a big difference with all of you guys. And so, yes, our passcode is Elevate. I think just because of the timing of things, if you do connection today, it'll still work, but Elevate is going to be from tomorrow. So come in here. And, Chris, I'm so fired up after today's meeting with Fred. I'm going to add in the FIF reset link right here so that we can get to that even more and make a bigger impact there. So anyways, let's just continue elevating together. Chris, Mark, so much gratitude for you guys for just allowing me to do all this stuff. But hope that this can bring value to our team, Ben, to your team as well. We're so excited to welcome you here. So let's make it an amazing week and keep elevating together.
Yeah, I love it. And Tina, I have one more announcement for everybody. I really want you to meet somebody very special to our organization. Just joined us. And I think this is going to be another way that we elevate our organization. Tina, I don't know if you have host controls. Can you unmute Nicole for me?
Got her.
So Nicole, have we got you unmuted first before I introduce you?
Yeah, she's unmuted.
Good. Yeah, I can, if y'all can hear me.
Yes, we've got you loud and clear. So everybody, this is Nicole Wright. She's down in the great state of Texas as well. Dallas, Texas, if you will, right now. She's an Oregon Duck graduate. Is that right, Nicole?
I am a graduate and I am a Duck fan, and I will take you to task this season. We'll see how we do.
Oh, I love it. Hey, we love talking a little junk around football around here. She has a concentration in her background, guys, in marketing and finance, strategic operations, executive partnership leader, 15 plus years out consulting in that and experience in that. She solved a lot of complex business challenges and scaled a lot of businesses. We're excited to bring her aboard as our business operations manager here at Cook Financial Group. And today is her first day. She's strategically going to be working a lot with our base shop and getting them up and growing and becoming number one in all of Symmetry Financial Group is our goal. And so just welcome, Nicole, and just proud to be in business with you. A lot of you are going to be seeing a lot more of her around all these meetings, and great to partner up with you, Nicole.
Thank you, Chris. I'm excited to meet all y'all, and I appreciate the opportunity. And I am a Duck, but don't hold it against me. I love my home state of Texas and Dallas for sure. And I'm excited to get started. I'm drinking from a fire hose today, so be patient with me and correct me when I'm on the wrong path, and I'll self-correct when I can. So I appreciate all of you, and I'm excited to work with you.
Yeah. And we've thrown about 4 million acronyms at her already that she doesn't understand. So it's okay. We will all learn it, and we had to learn it together as well. So
That was
Nicole,
at flashcards over the weekend. That's how I spent my
right.
weekend, on the couch
That's
with
right.
flashcards. Yep. So we're working on it.
I love it. Well, appreciate you, and just looking forward to your partnership and exciting times here in the organization. So Safety Port team, welcome, welcome. Couldn't say more welcome enough. And just so excited to be working with you guys. Can't wait to let's all work together, build businesses, have fun, make money, helping families. So appreciate everybody. Everybody have a great week. See you in the workroom.